Hello everybody, how are you? We are on chapter 15 of The Rhino in Right Field. Let's do it. Chapter 15. 20 minutes later, we were back out on the sidewalk. The Nash was already waiting at the curb, so we climbed in. Well, said Uncle Spyro brightly, mission accomplished? No, I slammed the door hard. Why not? Said Spyro. Joe Daggett was out, said Ace as he slid into the back seat. He's in Sheboygan for the pup's road trip. How do you like that? Spyro's eyebrows shot up. Joe Daggett? You came to see the new head honcho of the Mud Puppies? Oh yeah, we're like this with Joe Daggett, said Ace, waving his fingers crossed in the air. But his scary secretary doesn't know that. So we said to that secretary, we said, tell Joe Daggett that his buddies Ace and Nick want a word with him. We left our calling card, if you know what I mean. No, said Spyro, looking at Ace in the rearview mirror. What do you mean? He means that the scary secretary told us to write our names and phone numbers on a card, I told him. Oh, said Spyro. What kind of contest is it, anyways? I didn't want to say too much. Uncle Spyro was being a good sport right now, but he was still a grown-up. If push came to shove, he'd have to side with Ma and Pop. I think that's the rule. So, of course, Ace said, the winner gets to be a mud puppy for a day. There's a field skills test, but it's next Saturday and Nick has to work. Ace in his big mouth. So that's why you tried asking your pop for the day off, said Spyro, as we pulled away from the curb at supper last night. He didn't even hear me, I muttered. And then when I asked him again, he said no. Uncle Spyro shook his head and chomped his gum. Sorry about that, kid. I wish I could help. But my Saturdays are booked solid. It's all right, I said, but I didn't sound very convincing. We stopped at a red light, and Spyro glanced over at me. Your pop means well, you know. He's just kind of tone deaf when it comes to kids. He didn't have much of a childhood himself. What do you mean? The light changed to green and Spyro rolled forward. You've heard about how his pop came from Greece first and then sent for the rest of his family? 1,000,000 times, I said. Well, Spyro said, did he ever tell you that it took your grandfather 10 years to save up enough money to send for them? That whole time your pop and grandmother were still in Greece, in that little village with no running water, going hungry? I don't think George will ever get over the fear of having nothing. That's why he works so hard. Wow, was all I could say. Anyway, I know that doesn't help with you and your problem, said Spyro, but I'd put in a good word for you, but you know what it's worth. I know, I said. Anyhow, that's why we went to see Joe Daggett. He knows I work on Saturdays. I figured I'd ask him if I could try out another time, but he wasn't there. So I left him a note with my name and telephone number, and the scary secretary said that she'd give it to him. She said that he might get back to his office tonight. Maybe he'll call. Maybe he will, said Spyro cheerfully. Things usually have a way of working out. How about we get some frozen custard? What's your favorite, Happy or Rogers? I'm not a little kid anymore, I told him. I don't need custard to help me feel better. I do, said Ace from the back seat. Let's go to Rogers. Good old Ace. Happy custards is better, I said. Is that so? Said Spyro. I suppose there's one way to find out. Who's game for a taste test? I snorted. Ma will kill us for snacking so close to supper time. Spyro grinned. So we won't tell her. Maybe I was wrong about whose side my uncle was on after all. Then I looked at him sideways. Don't you have to get to school? He winked at me and chopped on his gum. School? What school? Half an hour later, we were stuffed full of custard and still arguing about who was better. Happy's is creamier, I said. You gotta admit it. Yeah, but Rogers is more chocolatey, said Ace. That's all well and good, said Spyro, but wait till you try Southside Lenny's. Thanks for the ride, I said, as we rolled into the alley behind the house. And for the custard. It's okay, Squirt, he said. Now that, I missed my first class. Might as well stay for supper. Yikes! Supper, said Ace as he slid out of the car. See you later. He vaulted over the hedge that separated our backyards and disappeared through a cloud of bed sheets that were hanging out to dry. Spyro stared after him. For a little guy, he can sure pack it away. That's Ace for ya. Nicky, said Ma as I opened the back door. Supper, it's ready. Come and wash up. Your father is hungry. Spyro, supper. She was carving a chicken, and Pop was already sitting at the table, smoothing his napkin onto his lap. Nicky! He smiled and wiggled his eyebrows, which made me think of jumping black caterpillars. Then Pop pulled something out of his shirt front pocket and waved it at me. It was Joe Daggett's business card. All right, everybody, I hope you're enjoying this book so far. Make sure you follow along and subscribe, which I guess is the cool thing all the cool cats do, so that you can catch all the new chapters that come up. I hope you enjoy the book, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.